Hey, come here. Yeah, right here. You can put your head on my shoulder. There we go. Mwah. You comfortable? Mm. Good. Because I don't think I'm moving for a while. Well, it's crazy hot outside, and we're both finally done with everything we had to do today. And honestly, I think we've earned a lazy evening. What? No, I'm not falling asleep. I'm just resting my eyes. Yeah, there's a difference. Okay, fine. I might be a little sleepy, but I am awake enough to keep you company. Yeah. Like, here. Where's my phone? We can do this again. Yeah. Check this house out. No, really, look. Come here, look at the kitchen. Okay, look, I know it's ridiculous and we can't afford this probably ever, but look at it. The kitchen has an actual island. Like a huge island in the middle of the kitchen. You know what that means? Fresh pastries every weekend. Don't look at me like that. I'm serious. Imagine waking up on a Saturday morning, walking downstairs, and the whole house smells like fresh apples and cinnamon. Maybe some vanilla. And you've got that sleepy little voice you use first thing in the morning. Yeah, what's baking? And I just turn around and give you a kiss and tell you to go sit down because breakfast is almost ready. Yeah, I could get used to that. Actually, you know what we need? An apple tree. Oh, definitely. One right outside the kitchen window. And I'm not talking some little ornamental tree either. I want a real apple tree. Yeah, big enough that years from now we can look out the window and realize that it's been around longer than half our furniture. And every fall, we could go outside together and pick apples. Well, mostly I'd be picking them because you're too short. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, the higher up ones are inevitably they're better. Yeah. After we collected a basket full, then we'd bring the whole batch inside and wash everything and spend the afternoon in the kitchen. Apple pie, apple turnovers, apple cinnamon rolls, apple muffins. Okay, we're going to need a lot of apples, so it's a good thing we're planting a tree. You know what else? I want a kitchen big enough that we can both be in there without constantly bumping into each other. Yeah, because I know you. You're gonna come wandering in while I'm cooking or baking, and you're gonna sneak up behind me and put your arms around me and just stand there. and I'm going to pretend like you're not in the way because I really enjoy it when you hold me like that. But, but this time, if we do it in this big, big enough kitchen, then I'll still have room to cook with you clinging on to me instead of having to like barely avoid elbowing you in the face. Oh, oh, wait. How about this one? Yeah, it has an attached garage. You see how big this thing is? Yeah, look, a 2-car garage, high ceilings, a workbench, storage cabinets, an actual window. Oh, windows. And I think the AC is actually connected out there, so it wouldn't just be crazy hot all the time. That would be perfect for you. Yeah, can you imagine having your own little workshop? And not just a little corner of the garage where you have to move everything. Uh, yeah, well, every time we need to park the car, you have to move stuff. This would be a real workplace. A place where you can leave a project exactly as you had it. Wood everywhere, tools hanging on the walls, your workbench right under the window. And I already know what you're going to say. I need more storage. Because of course you do. But you could have an entire warehouse and somehow you'd find a reason to need another shelf. But seriously, I'd love that. Yeah, I'd love walking into the garage and seeing you working on something. Yeah, I love that desk you built. But so maybe you build our furniture, you build a table. You could build our dining room table. Or, fix that some of that antique furniture that we got from your parents and your grandparents. Maybe make some completely ridiculous project that you swear is going to be useful someday. Then I'd bring you something to drink and you'd look up at me and I'd ask you how it's going. Then you'd start explaining everything, even though I only understand about 30% of what you're talking about. But I'd listen anyway, because I like hearing you talk about things you're passionate about. I love the way your eyes light up. Yeah, and I could have my own little corner in there too. No, not a workshop, just a chair. Maybe a little table. Somewhere I can sit while you work. Keep you company. Well, that's the thing about our dream house, isn't it? It's not really about having a giant house or expensive furniture or, God forbid, some ridiculous mansion. It's about having enough space for both of us to do the things we love without having to make compromises. Yeah, I know compromising is important, but it would be nice I mean, when I'm recording and you're banging away on some project and I either have to stop until you're done or come ask you to quit so I can record. And I know most of the time it's not an issue, but if one of us is in a little bit of a bad mood, sometimes it gets a little tense. So yeah, with a house like this, you get your workshop, I get my office, we get our kitchen, then we turn it into a home. Yeah, speaking of my office, so not only does this one have the garage, it also has a spare room. Well, it wouldn't be a spare room. It would be my recording studio. Yeah, it's not really big enough to be used as an actual bedroom. Yeah, so we could put up my sound dampening stuff and I could record in there. Come on, you knew that was coming. Yeah, imagine it. A proper little recording booth with soundproofed walls and acoustic panels. Yeah, my really good microphone would finally actually be useful instead of picking up every little noise. Honey, a dog farted next door and my microphone picked it up. I couldn't figure out what it was for weeks. Yeah, I could even put a little sign on the door that says recording, please do not disturb. Oh, or like I could put a red light outside so like I could flick a light switch and it would turn the red light on and people would know I was recording. Although knowing you, you'd still knock. I'd be in the middle of some dramatic monologue. You must leave this kingdom before sunset. And I'd stop. Yes. And you'd poke your head through the door. Do you want coffee? And I'd immediately fall out of character with whatever character I was playing because, of course, I want coffee and to spend time with you. Actually, I think I'd love having that room more than anything. Not just because I'd get to record, but because it'd be ours. A place where I could work, a place where I could make these stories. Maybe someday you'd come sit outside the booth while I'm recording and I'd finish a scene and take my headphones off and look through the glass and see you smiling at me. And then I'd walk out here and you'd tell me how ridiculous my voice sounded. You wouldn't. Really. So you're telling me you're never going to make fun of me. I don't believe you. You know, there is something kind of funny about all this, though. We're sitting here in this cramped little rented apartment, looking at houses we can't afford, and planning rooms that don't even exist. But I don't mind. Because someday, we'll be sitting in our actual living room. Maybe there'll be a fireplace. Maybe the walls will be a little different. God forbid we can't be another family that paints all of their walls like beige or white or neutral colors. Please, I need some actual color and some pop. Yeah, we'll have furniture we haven't even thought to look for yet. We'll look back at this apartment, how we started our lives together here. Remember this night. We'll remember the couch, and the stupid little coffee table, that annoying light fixture we've both complained about 100 times. The neighbor who apparently believes midnight is the perfect time to rearrange furniture. Our overly promiscuous neighbor whose girlfriends always leave, shall we say, unsatisfied. And we'll say, you remember when we used to dream about this? And we'll walk outside and we'll see that apple tree. And it'll be bigger than we ever imagined. Maybe we'll have to trim it. Maybe one of the branches will be growing in the complete wrong direction. And we'll argue about whether or not it needs to be fixed. And eventually we'll both realize that neither one of us knows a damn thing about apple trees. And then I'll pick some apples and bring them inside and bake something with them. Probably make way too much, because I never know how much is enough when I'm baking. And you'll come into the kitchen and I'll hand you one. And you'll take a bite. And I'll look at you, waiting. Well. And you'll smile. And I'll know. That's the part I think I like the most. Not the house or the garage, the recording studio, not even the apple tree. It's getting to share all of it with you. Well, when you really boil it down, a house is just walls. The garage is just a room. Even the apple tree is just a tree until someone you love is beside you, someone you can turn around and share it all with. And that's what I want. I want to wake up next to you and make breakfast with you and hear you working away in our garage. I want you to interrupt my recording sessions because you need my opinion about something completely random. I want to take turns coming home to the smell of something being made in the kitchen. Rainy evenings and sunny mornings, holidays and birthdays, boring Tuesdays. I want all of it. Well, I don't need a perfect life per se, but I want our life. And I think that our life together will be perfect, even with all the tribulations, because I'll be spending it with you. Come here. Yeah, put your head on my chest. Yeah, that's better. You know, maybe we don't have our dream house yet. Maybe we're going to have to save. Maybe it'll take a lot longer than we thought or that we want. Maybe we'll change our minds about half the things we've planned. Maybe we'll find a house that we love that doesn't have everything on our list. Or hell, maybe we'll find a house we love that doesn't have anything on our list. And that's okay. Because I think as long as we're building it together, it'll still be home. And someday we're going to stand in that kitchen. We're going to look out the window. We're going to see our apple tree. I'm going to smile at you and say, we did it. And you'll smile at me lovingly and then say something like, we still need to finish unpacking. And we'll unpack together, box by box, room by room, and hang pictures, argue about where the couch should go and move it half a dozen times. Realize we bought way too much furniture. Probably spend an entire afternoon trying to assemble something that came with instructions written by someone who apparently hates humanity. But eventually, we'll sit down, we'll look around, and it'll hit us. This is ours. Our kitchen, our living room, our bedroom, our yard, our apple tree, our little piece of the world. And then I'll look over at you and gaze lovingly into your eyes and say, you know what really makes this place perfect? And you'll ask, what? And I'll say, you. You're what makes this place perfect. Yeah, cheesy, I know. But you married me. You knew what you were getting into. uh, yeah, that dream isn't going anywhere. And neither am I. So let's just stay here on the couch, you and me in our cramped little apartment, and this ridiculous list of things we're going to put in a house someday. But the one thing I know will never change is that you're a part of it. And that's the part I want in every vision, every house, every city, every future I can imagine. just as long as you're there, I'll be perfectly happy. So even tonight, while we only have this, I'm still perfectly content. I love you so much. Now, I think I am going to close my eyes and maybe take a little bit of a nap, if you would like to join me. Good night, sweetheart. Let's both try to dream about our future home together so I can see you there, huh?